I see the little live marker now.
Well, the live marker is one part, but we got to make sure the actual data is going downstream. It's Facebook today. And that's okay, everybody. Thanks so much for being here at the Taking Up Space podcast. I'm going to drop this music down a little bit. We'll just repost the content from YouTube. Let me just go out here and confirm that we are live on YouTube. Oh, I've been banned from Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I can't go live.
But it should go from all the rest of the platforms, no?
That's hilarious. Thanks everybody for being here today, and tuning in and watching the Love Arts. No, I'm in the wrong place. The Taking Up Space podcast. I got a little thrown off of my chair because I was like, this isn't normal. Why is this not working? I'll tell you why it's not working. Earlier in the week, I went online under the comment of a guy who we went to the same university, and I went under his post as he was pretending that he didn't understand why those stereotypical white people were scaling the walls of the Capitol. He was confused, and I just simply went under, and I said, I never say this statement without explaining why. My cadence is blankety blank blank for blankety blank blank. And I live this way in my life for all sorts of things. Even in
You said Nazis are Nazis because X, Y, and Z.
I always, I'm a teacher, so I always try to bring in like that teaching component of I'll never leave you hanging for a why. I try to support the ways I behave in the world and the way I communicate in the world. I believe that we must be responsible 200% for the energy that we bring, right? So I went under his post and his feigning confusion, and I said, white people are trash for their complicits in our death. White people are trash for their mistreatment of black and brown people, and they know it. And then I put up a yawning emoji.
Like, this is old news. This is old news.
Wake me up before
yesterday's news. Like the kitty litter. Like old
and stale and smelling up your house. Smelling up your whole house. So I literally was like, so I just said what I said. He was like feigning confusion, and there was a bunch of comments, and I just said white people are trash for their complicits. I think that's the word. I didn't get spell checked, but for their complicit behavior in our deaths. But I think the truncated version, because I don't need to say all of that, I said white people are, let me actually look.
You're like, let me get the receipt.
let me look, because I don't have to wonder. In 2021, like, now if this was like the 80s, I would have to have remembered it or recorded it. But I said, do I even have the screenshot of what I said? Facebook is an ashy hoe. I said, in quotes, YT, white people are trash. You know it. I know it. Yawn, 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 yawn. So maybe I didn't give the reasons for that time, but
you also have been giving receipts of the explanation as to why.
Receipts are commonplace. And furthermore, this is a white man's wall who goes onto all of the platforms singing the blackest that he can. He claims to be down, like a Sam Smith kind of motherfucker. He claims to be like at the cookout. So how was I on your wall and in your
Elvis vibes? Yawn, yawn, yawn.
How did I get on your wall and then get banned from Facebook? And then after I got banned, and I went on to, because I know how it goes. I've been banned from Facebook before because I speak truth to power. And so I knew that I only had like 30 seconds before the content moderators on Facebook shut me down. because it's happened to me before for calling white people out on their shit. And so right before they cut me off completely and prevented us from live streaming today, which is so cute considering that YouTube is competition and all other platforms are springing up right now as they exist. Like
especially now,
Zuckerberg, you just lost a bunch of followers and viewers on your platform, because I went and said on January 7th, when I was banned, my apologies, at 6:05 p.m., I went on and said, Facebook is a place for white people to ignore their shit. I'm heading back to Facebook jail soon for posting this on an ally's wall, who I will drag later. And ladies and gentlemen, the later is right now.
I love that you also named this person as an ally. Like, I feel like a both and is excellent, you know, because like, and maybe this is a good, also just like a good lead in to the emotion of courageous, but like, I love that you can do the both and of saying like, this person is an ally. You didn't even say supposed, like I probably would have shadily done.
Well,
anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that you both and call this person an ally, and in sort of the truthfulness of like loving relationship was like, if this person is an ally, I have a courageous responsibility to drag this person. You're not going to sort of capitalize off of Black culture in your artistry, but then be trash in the way that you show up on these platforms and do or don't show up for us. Like, not today, not under my watch.
These white men stay doing all the riffs and runs. I have a list in my head right now of white men who do riffs and runs and appropriate our culture. But then somehow I got banned from your wall because my comment goes against your comment goes against our community standards on hate speech. How? Hate speech?
And remember when you told me that too, like, so when you told me like, on a personal level about getting in Facebook jail, I was like, this trend is so annoying because it's more common that my Black friends have been put in Facebook jail for having similar kinds of comments, and I've less frequently heard the same thing from white people. So like, there's clearly a thing that's happening here with what is or isn't policed, even in the fucking social media sphere. Not like this is new news, but like, it's just all trash.
Like the song says, once, twice, 3 times
lady.
And let me tell you something. That was my 3rd time being banned for calling white people out on how trash they are. If you can't sit with the idea that your behaviors or your lack of, or your indifference towards evil, like if you are indifferent or silent or coddling actual evil, the evil inside you. And I've used this hashtag online. This is all building up because all last week, as this stuff started happening and y'all were scaling fucking walls at the Capitol and having your legs up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, pretending that you're smarter than us as a people, while y'all were doing that, I was starting this hashtag called the evil inside you. And I want you to really look at the evil inside you. I'm looking at the evil inside me too. Like I'm looking at
word.
Now is the time. We're in the age of fucking Aquarius, people. Now is the time to actually step your whole pussy up. Mm-hmm. Start with the man in the mirror, myself included. I never dispense medicine that I myself do not take. That would be frankly would be beneath me. For me to be out here trying to be my version of Iyanla Vanzant, but then mistreating people. And Stacia can tell you on the backside of the story, I'm a crybaby when it comes to like the sensitivity about minding people and trying to be more gentle to people than people have been to me. I cry very real tears about that. And so when I come off mute or bestow upon you and bless you, you see Sadhguru there?
I did.
I love him so much. When I decided to type to y'all and bless you with the gift of my time and keystrokes, consider yourselves fortunate because I'm not coming to steal, kill, and destroy as you do. I'm coming simply to say white
empower, equip.
Yes, and by empowering, equipping, and encourage, I'm empowering myself by saying white people are trash.
I love the holiness in that. I'm empowering myself. I got the spirit when you said.
Well, then let's pull over and talk about it for a second, because this is our show, right? We can do that. Yeah, I empower myself. And I'm just going to stop here for a second, because if it caught you in your Shonda Locoso, then it may hit somebody else in their Shonda Locoso. If you don't know where you are right now, because I don't know where the fuck I am right now, into the Taking Up Space podcast with Stacia and Dré. We are two Black creatives and social entrepreneurs, and frankly, niggas with a cause, who want to bring our voices out. We're sick and tired of, and been sick and tired of being in the shadows, having wonderful conversations and wanting to be a blessing to people, but then allowing systems of white supremacy, power, and oppression to try to take our voices away the way that Zuckerberg, you fuck, tried to. And so we are, if wherever you are listening to this right now or viewing this, thank you to the one viewer out there that found us in
the ether.
Right, exactly. Take a moment to just place your hands on your shoulders if you're able-bodied, or on your chest, like Wakanda style, and just encourage yourself and empower yourself and equip yourself. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. I'll say it one more time so it sticks. No one, especially your ally friends that think they sing blacker than you. Which that's a whole different episode.
Can't roll my eyes hard enough.
You got to add to the list. Just write down. I'm gonna write down a note right now. Cultural appropriation, because that's a whole nother episode. But we weren't there. You're right, Stacia. We are empowering ourselves. Take a breath. Oh, universe divine, I am so grateful that you stopped by my heart one day and reminded me that one of the gifts I give in the world is to encourage, equip, and empower people. That's one of the gifts we bring to this space. But I am so grateful that you have reminded me, and you continue to remind me, that we can empower ourselves.
Yes, can and should.
We could stop in every moment to do so. Mm-hmm. And so when I walk into these DMs and say, yawn emoji, watch the trash, you know it, and I know it, and then get banned from a complete platform, that shows me everything I need to know. And I was sincerely surprised today when I went live and we didn't go live. It actually shocked me. But this is how systems of white supremacy and suppression actually, y'all try to pretend like I immediately, when I saw that I was being banned for the third time, I immediately put up that last post that called my statement hate speech. Oh man. And I immediately deleted Facebook and Facebook Messenger. And what that did for me personally was cut me off from 6,000 people who are pretending to be for me, but most of them are actually nosy and against me. Mm-hmm. And I don't need wolves in the house. So you one viewer out there who found us and found your way here, you are a real one.
Truly.
You're a real one, and you are the reason why, you're one of 10,000 reasons why we continue. I got to get out of the graphic. There you go. Watch Stacia, see what Stacia does. For you, those of you listening on the podcast live, Stacia's throwing up
heart symbols.
Heart symbol. Or somebody the other day was doing like, do you see the hearts?
What? No.
You see the hearts on top?
I'm blind though.
Like
yeah.
Oh,
I see
I got something for you before you go.
it. I see it.
It's hearts.
Yeah. I got it. I haven't seen that before though.
Ciao.
That's a new one.
It is a new one.
I don't know what the kids are doing these days.
We're gonna talk about this in a second. One of my best things that I'm finding out in the Clubhouse world is people will be like, "It's the emotion for me," or "It's the sass." Like as a commentary, the 20-year-olds are being like, like, "Oh, I really like listening to Taking Up Space with Stacia Dré, but it was the music for me." Or, it's the fro for me, Stacia. It's the fro for me. Like the way that they validate things is by saying it's the blank for me.
Oh, interesting.
But see, for me, they're not ready yet because I'll be like, it's the white supremacy for me. Of all the things that's going on this week and being banned off platforms with my smiley chocolatey ass face, it's the white supremacy for me. I'm not going to abide the bullshit anymore in my life. It's beneath me. What do you got to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, that's a curious comment about the young folks, like calling out these particular little things that they're interested in. Because I almost feel like, not to go deep on some like neoliberal capitalism type analysis, but I feel like social media culture is primed to be like, if you don't know, you can't go. Like, I like this specific show, and then like if you know that show, then only you will get the callback when I like make this statement or say I like this particular thing. And then it's like this whole sort of clout capitalism bullshit about like this niche thing that you like about this, like fucking subterranean sort of thing that you like. And I'm just like, cool, but like, can you just be about the present? That's different than the vibe of a lot of the other shit that you're into, rather than like, I mean, whatever, a catchphrase, a soundbite, I get it, children, but like, also, let's dig deeper, please. Anyways,
it's the presence for me.
It's the presence for me, dog.
It's the presence for me. It's been fun, and I don't want to seem like I'm making fun of anyone because I want to be forever young, and I want to be that 75-year-old hanging out with the 20-year-olds when I'm not rolling my eyes. But it's been interesting being in this very millennial, clout-driven culture, trying to do the encouragement, equipment, and empowerment that we do on brand. It's been interesting trying to continue to bring that into the world, given that people have, like Black Twitter this week in theatrical spaces have been just dragging artists and dragging people and having that clout, that clout economy, which is what you're speaking to, and which is a whole nother episode to do.
It's like, let's get the likes for the clap back,
right?
And it's just like,
hot take.
But for what?
I've never gotten a check. Now, if I were like Kid Fury and Crystal or something like that actually were securing bags for the cute things I say or the sassy things I say, if I were in that bracket, then perhaps I would turn it up a notch. But last I heard, you niggas weren't paying me nothing to be here.
Truly. Well, I think, but that's the trajectory people want to be on. And I think the difference here between us, and we've talked about this, like, behind the curtain, is that the way we want to set ourselves apart in this marketplace is that we want the sustenance, like we don't want to be the soundbite. We're not trying to sort of drag for the like, oh, I love the sassy, like we are like that's a part of our essence. You to drag, to be sassy or whatever. That's a part of us in the Black tradition. But that's not what we're here for. Like, that's, we're here for the substance. We're here for the connective tissue between each other, and to honestly really be about that brand that I love that you tout, and the love among Love Citizens, and the Love City Arts brands, to empower, equip, and encourage, because that kind of energy really is, it's more rare than one would think with the level of global connection that we have.
So let me tell you a quick story, a little quick anecdote. So I was in Clubhouse. Clubhouse, for those of you who are not familiar, is an invite only, iPhone only. So you already know what that is. Platform. I know that it's only.
I didn't know it was iPhone only. That makes sense.
It is iPhone only, but there's a reason.
Exclusive.
Well, yeah, it's exclusive. Well, yeah, there's a reason for it too. The geek in me wants to share that when you produce an app for iPhone, you only have to do one version of the app because we have our shit together. When you have an Android, there are like 12 different versions of Android on every phone out in the world.
Yikes. So you got to do a lot more back.
Build 12 different versions to make it backwards compatible with those ashy phones y'all have.
Word.
And so that's part of it. But additionally, like, it's a programming and app development type of situation. Why was I talking about this? Shit.
Something about empower, equip,
okay.
How that's different, encourage, how that brand is different.
So I'm always received as what they call in Spanish a sabelo todo. Sabelo todo is a know-it-all.
Sabelo todo.
It's part of my INTJ modality. I am always up here aloof, a diva bitch, and like a know-it-all. Even someone in a Clubhouse room earlier in the week.
Me gusta.
Exactly. The Aquarius, they were like, Aquariuses think they know everything. I just sat there on mute like,
bitch.
Like, so like, I'm addicted to this app. Like, I don't know why I'm addicted to this app. I just love this app. So I came off mute and a cricket chirped and a tumbleweed blew through. And I said, the reason why we love this app is because voice to voice human connection is what we first knew in the womb. And we all want to hear the sound of someone's voice and see the expressions on their face. There are experiments about this. If you stop smiling at a baby and mean mug a baby, they will start crying. Like, look it up on YouTube. It's called, oh shit, I should have had that in the notes. I didn't expect to talk about it, but there is a scientific experiment that if you're going, hi baby, hi baby, hi baby, hi baby, even a 6-month or 3-month-year-old will respond with smiles. But if you, without them even knowing and having cognition around language developed, if you just go and just stare at them, they will immediately start to cry, because biofeedback tells us that we like to hear people's voices and we like to be, and we're soothed by it. I said that in that space and they went,
mic drop.
Oh yeah, you might be right about that. No, it's not that I might be right. There's actual scientific documentation, but dwell on your ignorance, people. We're here today to talk about In With the Next. For those of you who follow our shenanigans on the internet, and that's not a requirement, it's a grace. If you hear us, and we have hundreds of followers and listeners, but if you're hearing us, I just want to say thank you.
Yes, deeply,
because
truly.
It's a choice that you make to kind of give us your time as a person who has had insidious ways in which my time could be stolen in life, frankly. I'm grateful that you come and chill with us at your leisure. Last year, in the final episode of 2020, that bastard of a year, which we'll talk a little bit about today, we did Out With the Old. And if you want to go back, did I even put it up? If it's not, I put it up?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, friend. It's just a long-winded and long-loving musing about what we gleaned last year. Stacia, I don't know.
Turning the L's into lessons, and one could say 2020 was a big L, but honestly, I loved that we reflected in our last episodes on the lessons that we took from the shenanigans of last year.
There were L's. Let's be very clear in our language here, because the universal mic is on. Fuck a Zoom. We're not even on Zoom. Fuck a live mic. Like, we may have taken some L's last year. I know I did personally. I know you did a bit. But 2020 wasn't an L. We prospered in 2020.
Yeah, truly.
And so I think there's also, I'm not coming for you, Stacia. I'm just saying, like, please, everyone who listens to this, and I'm listening to it myself, there's a mirror right there. Be mindful of your language around this year and last year, because when you average it out, Stacia and I were talking about this before we came on. Sadhguru, one of my teachers, talks about if you are shoving things in one end of your mouth and then it's moving through all of that pipe, and it's like feet upon feet of intestine. If you look it up, like grab an encyclopedia and look up how many feet your intestines are if they were to take it out of your body and string it across the floor. It's like feet of
it's a lot.
The process as a human being and a human spirit. And if you are shoving shit, because a lot of you don't eat right. So if you're shoving preservatives and junk in one end, and then it's coming out as funkier junk on the opposite end, you can check the box on what it means to be a human for that day. And then everything else is icing on the cake, because you completed what you came here to do, which was to be, capital B, capital E, a human being. Stacia and I came here today to talk about In With the Next, and just kind of center in on
intention setting.
Intentions. And what I love about doing it publicly is that we're kind of held to that standard. Like whatever I say, I wouldn't say never, because there are exceptions to the rule, but I try to not take back the offering off of the altar. This is live. It sets on our now on our exclusive YouTube channel, and it sits there, and it will always sit there, because I'm accountable to a lot of things, but for this project, I'm only accountable to this moment and how I felt on the 10th of January.
I love that you say that.
Riff about it.
I was just going to say, I love that you say that, because I think that because we've quickly shifted into the social media space of sort of having our business and posts and thoughts out there into the ether, it can make certain people move with a timidness.
Last week's emotional word of the week, love to the art.
Yes. It can make people move with a timidness, not speak their truth because they're worried about those digital receipts. And I love that we, as a creative team, are trying to move in a different way in presence, to say, like, we are fluid, adaptable creatures and beings, and like we can change at any moment. And I'm not afraid nor ashamed of whatever sort of lessons, mistakes, fallibilities are out there. If I need to sort of speak to something that I was in the past moment, then that's fine. But like, I'm out here, we're out here. Like,
we're out here in the present moment. And there's always going to be Willie Andre Stith asterisk. Y'all can steal my identity if you want to. It's a good identity to steal. And that asterisk will always be there. And when you go down to the bottom, the fine print says subject to change, period.
But all know who's the real Andre Stith.
Say it again.
I said, but I will know who's the real Andre Stith.
You personally or me personally?
I will. And you will too.
See, this is how you get caught up. See, it's a slippery slope. You don't know shit about my life, Stacia.
Bitch, you don't know me.
I mean,
I don't even know me.
Exactly. I'm just coming into a greater understanding of how this fuck shit is actually set up. Like, there's a lot of, we talked about this pre-show, like there's a lot of extra in life, like just a lot of extra. Like, a lot of people are doing what they need to do, and then they're exhausting like so much energy doing the most, and
myself included. Not always, but a lot of times.
All the time, but no. And it's cool because we're all evolving and progressing, but I really want to model, and I've been on 2000 countless times when I should have been on 2. in my life, I've found that my reactive nature was kind of an overcompensation for presence.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, because I mean, when you really, there's a scripture from my past spiritual life that was like, be a doer of the word, not a hearer only. And so I want to be a doer of the word. I can get on here and drop you. They call them on Clubhouse. They call them gems. Like when someone says something that's like powerful, that moves you, like, oh, thank you so much for those gems. So I can drop all of the gems that that you want to hear and make you feel good. But is this shit written on the tablets of your heart? And it actually influence, and that's something that we can talk about a little later when it comes to Clubhouse culture. It's like, as part of my musings, it is, you can quickly tell who actually believes what they say and who doesn't.
Are you about that life? For real.
The energy exchange, and what, like, a lot of people are out there kind of with brilliant resumes and they say the most wonderful things, but when you watch how they move and when you watch how they interact with people, you can tell that it's like the emperor has no clothes.
Ooh, and let me just call out that I love in our relationship, and not everyone is ready. Not everyone can handle the truth. I personally, love fire. I love when it comes with love, sort of people who have critical analysis for encouragement's sake. But like a thing that I love in our dynamic and about you is like, it's a part of my nature to sort of like soundboard shit. Like sometimes I'll just be talking. I'll be talking for talking's sake. Sometimes. And like, that's fine. A lot of times. And like, that is just like, it's something I used to feel self-conscious about, because like other people historically had called that out and like made me feel bad about that. And I think in our relationship, I've learned that like, this is a part of my process. This is a part of my nature. But what I love is that like, you will both and hold space for me to like spin my wheels, talking out whatever. And you'll be like, okay, so now's the moment where you're just like talking to like hear yourself. Like you're talking to like say your things or do whatever. And like you'll name for like when I'm doing that thing as a part of my process, I'm talking to hear myself or to kind of just like run through whatever, or when I'm actually in presence. And like, because I know your truth and I know that like you love me, I can hear when you're, I can hear when like it gives me pause to be like, oh wait, am I just like talking because I like need the attention or whatever thing I'm trying to do, which is fine, but it's like, let's just call it what it is. And then let me like come back into presence, you know?
And let's not for a second think that we have to be all things to all people. The reason why I treat you the way I treat you is because, and lovingly so, is because I know that someone truly wants to hear your 20-hour musings about a grain of rice. Somebody wants to, but I'll take my 20 seconds and I'm good. And that's important also to name, because I don't have one cardinal in my circle. I have 4, and that's intentional, so that when something's burning on my heart and I need to get it out, and people don't like to hear this, but I just run down the list and then I'll catch everybody else up when we can, because you can't even get yourself into a trap of being all things to all people.
Yeah, you can. It's not healthy for anyone involved.
Mm-hmm. Say that last part again so that we don't miss it.
I was saying it's not healthy for anyone involved to just rely on a single person to either meet their needs or get your needs met. So it's great that you have 4 cardinals. Yeah,
4 cardinals and 1 million angels. And that is just a wonderful thing. So for those of you just tuning in, today's topic is In With the Next. We're going to be talking about New Year's intentions. On our last episode, before we took another tangent into the woods, which I love about us, we talked about last year's gleaning and the lessons we took from that. Stacia, head out the gate. What is
Sure.
one of your?
Get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
So my first intention for the year, and I really stole this from Adrienne Maree Brown, as I name drop very frequently and will continue to do so, because she has really taught me a lot about movement building in a real way, not just in a like clout capitalism way. But anyways, my first intention is less prep, more presence. And the reason why that's so important to me is, oh shit, am I still live?
You're so live. You've not gotten into the groove yet that I can make you the actual person that's talking as you're fucking talking. What are you doing?
Okay. Oh no, it did a thing and I thought that like my Wi-Fi went out in the middle of me talking. Sorry.
Let's stop here for a second then in the middle of the live taping. What did it do?
Oh, it just like centered my screen and yours fell out. And that's what happened when you told me pre-show that I like was not live anymore. So I thought that happened again.
I don't have words beyond the fact that you're about to go on screen so that I can go and brush my beard and take a leak.
Okay, it's fine. Sorry, you know I'm a grandpa.
Or okay. Stacia's going to tell you about her first intention as I try to be stealth about something.
You could have told me in the private chat, nigga. Like
in the middle of you talking?
You're right. I would have paid attention. Anyways, so my first intention is to have less preparation and more presence. And this is something that I think Andre and I have talked about regularly in Taking Up Space, and in a lot of the content that we just have produced in general among the Love City Art platforms. And because it's something that both of us have struggled with historically, I think we all, both Andre and myself, have had struggles with like being performative. I think a lot of Black people have, especially if you are a Black person who is in professional culture, professional class, middle class. There's a lot of performative class signaling that is ingrained in us. And so my number one intention for this year is to sort of let go of the shackles of feeling like I need to be over prepared for things in general, not just in work, but in life, you know, in relationships, and to honor that the value and the weight of presence is like the truest thing beyond anything else, beyond the preparation. It's what's the most valuable to me, and is how I want to start off this year, reminding myself that presence, if I'm always coming back to presence and being fully present, then I'm on the right track, even if I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable about like a lack of preparation or a lack of feeling like I'm prepared for whatever the scenario is. If I'm showing up fully present, that's enough. You know, that's always enough.
How have you felt performative in the past?
I think that, like, especially being disabled, I think there's ingrained in me this idea that I've always got to like be uber prepared to sort of like seamlessly present as if I don't have a disability, to be accepted into a space, to even maintain that I belong anywhere. And so, you know, and in full disclosure, it's still a practice that I'm working on to sort of like quiet those demons of sort of like telling me that I'm not enough, and sort of the voices of imposter syndrome. But when I come back to this intention of like less prep, more presence, less prep, more presence, and I really breathe into that, I am consistently rewarded.
Yeah. I mean, I pay attention to your disability sometimes because the thing about it is that, like, I don't think it's as big a deal to the world as it is to you. Like, you know,
I think you're right.
You couldn't see that I was going off air for a few minutes. And like, instead of like, I try to not treat you as an invalid. You know, like let me just private chat her and make sure she like I just treat you as a fully capable human being, because outside of the I won't say superficial, but outside of the stuff, you know, you're enough.
Yeah, as you should.
And it's always worked out for you when you're in this less prep, more present space. Also, one of my intentions for the new year is, to that point, simplicity. It's like there's this huge the reason why I get so sassy, for those of you who caught that exchange, the reason why I get so sassy and on Stacia's ass is because, like, situations like the ones we encounter on this show would only be a problem if we were like daytime Emmy award-winning Oprah show.
Right, of course.
Like, if we were producing something for Harpo Studios, then that would probably bring a certain, you know,
and even then maybe it wouldn't, because you know what, like, I'll just say, like, when I watch SNL, for example, which, you know, it's like when you're watching it live, it's live.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love, for me personally, and I'm like a comedy writing nerd, so I'm like thinking about the process more so than just the performance of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I love when people come out of character or script and you see that the presence of them sort of like laughing about the thing or whatever, like when you see that exchange about like, we're both kikiing about how ridiculous this is, or like whatever little fallibility happens in live entertainment. I personally actually love that shit, because it's like, oh yeah, we're all just like live creatures, and like this whole celebrity culture of like polished whatever it's a performance.
It's a myth. Mm-hmm. It's a myth, and it causes us to overcomplicate very, very simple shit. Like, truly. I had my curry fish, which was amazing, for lunch, and now I'm here with you. Mm-hmm. And those are two things out of 10,000 things that are happening in this moment. Like, your cells are dividing in your body right now. Your skin is refreshing. A flake of skin just fell off. No, I mean, well, yeah. No. Well, yeah. You want to pray about it?
I do when I put my moisturizer on.
All of this is happening. Like dead skin is falling off of you and turning into pocket lint and dust on the floor. Mm-hmm. And your body's renewing even as we speak. So many things. And I think that there is a... the last thing I'll say about this point is, like, there is a myth of control.
Ooh, speak on it.
That people think they actually have over circumstances that they don't. Like, we're trying to fix the external things, like stop killing our black asses when we're only eating bowls of vanilla ice cream in the house. Mm-hmm. Those are things that we want to advocate for because that's what we deserve. But this idea of an idea that we can control outcomes or that we have a say in our lives, like, I think that it's something that can be very exhaustive as well. To try all the like, there's something that happens. Like I said, you can tell the difference between people who actually do this and don't do this by the way they move in the world. A person that truly trusts the divine, a person who truly trusts their flow, a person that truly trusts, to your point, their presence, you just move differently. Like, you're not phased anymore. And I can't say that I'm not still bothered by things. I am still bothered and kind of thrown off by shenanigans. But inside, I have relaxed the myth of control by being just very simple. I eat garbanzo beans, cod fish, tomatoes. What else went in my curry? There was no tomatoes in the curry. Curry powder that had like simple ingredients that I could read and pronounce. Kind of switching myself and switching my life into a modality of simplicity has allowed me to just relax the controller. And for those of you, this is a little gem, if you will. There's a wonderful clinical psychologist named Tara Brach who specializes in mindfulness. And there is a podcast and meditation she does and a talk she does all about relinquishing and releasing the controller, part 1 and part 2. If you want to do yourself a solid, you can stop listening to this now. I'm not going to say anything more profound than what she said in that talk. So if you want to stop listening now to the podcast and go over and listen to Tara Brach's releasing and relinquishing the controller, just type into the phone Tara, Tara, Brach, Brach, I believe.
Yep.
And then say controller, and it'll be the first episode that pops up. Listen to that, because it could be a key to unlock your door. What's your second intention for the year, Stacia?
My second intention, which is a great segue from what you just said, is I really want this year to become more curious and less anxious about the future and change. This is something, and also an area where I feel like Tara Brach, for example, has led me in some practice around mindfulness and meditation, is to really, she talks about RAIN, and now I'm going to forget what the acronym is.
I'll help you.
Recognize, attend, investigate, and nurture a feeling or an emotion that's coming up for you when you're in turmoil or anxiety or whatever. And that RAIN is an area, and just through my own therapy practice, where when I'm just like spinning my wheels, which I've been known to do, try to shift my perspective from anxiety. Because for me, a lot of times, but depression is usually past focused, anxiety is future focused. I can get really caught up in future focused anxiety because I'm a planner. It's a part of my personality to be thinking about systems and future planning. So it's not that that's bad, but it's when the uncertainty of that and me feeling like, I'm uncomfortable because I don't have a sense of control, which is really just a farce to begin with, to transmute that energy of anxiety into curiosity about the possibilities. And so rather than negotiating anxiety around change and uncertainty, I want to get curious and playful about like what's next.
I want to double back to, I didn't even get a chance to write it down because I was going to let you just go. Transmuting your curiosity into, or transmuting your anxiety into curiosity.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone said something this week that was really powerful. They were like, that nervousness is, they were talking and applying this to a musical theater or a performance arena, but that nervousness or excitement or anxiety, nervousness and anxiety was excitement trying to leave the body. That a lot of times your brain doesn't really know. And this is a little performance hack for people that have like performance anxiety or speaking anxiety. If you can figure out a way to make your brain believe that it's more excited than anxious, or more anticipatory excitement than nervous, you can act your brain like chemically. And look this up. This is science too, people. Bill Nye the Science Guy did me right. I don't know if he did y'all, but he did me right.
And now you know.
The more you know. And so literally, your brain can't tell the difference between anxiety, nerves, and excitement. So you have to make a deliberate choice about how you want to transform these things into a more curious energy. Stay in your lane is my second intention for this year. Someone online on Clubhouse said, and I really do recommend this app, and I can't wait for it to go global and wide because there's a lot of shenanigans on there. I spent like 4 hours on the conspiracy theory room.
Of course you did.
I loved it. I also learned about, is it Mansa Musa? Musa Masa?
I don't know.
Well, then let me school you on something real quick.
Yes, please do.
Because he and his brother are the wealthy black men, the wealthiest documented leaders of modern civilization. And
Musa?
Look it up. I don't know about him. Yeah, let me. I'll find it too. This is our show. I think it's Mansa Musa. MANSA M-U-S-A. And he's described as the wealthiest individual of the Middle Ages and of all of human history.
Wow, wealthiest individual of the Middle Ages and of all human history, says Wikipedia.
And white people colonized and conquered his entire kingdom. This man was given away. He destabilized a whole economy of a country by giving away free food and free stuff. Like, he was the ultimate do-gooder and was the wealthiest individual, and white people overthrew him and his brother and took all of their riches away from them. This is documented. Born in 1279 in the Mali Empire. And so this whole motherfucker is a lie to me. It's all a lie. Like, I'm gonna, like, my eyes have been open. Is that Rosie?
Absolutely is.
Okay.
She said cosign.
Yeah. Like, Rosie's a dog, y'all.
She's brown too. So.
She is brown too, and she knows what was it. She probably is.
Look at her right there. She said, "Woof."
She probably is Mansa Musa reincarnated.
She might be. Honestly, she acts like it. This whole
Let me get back to my notes. I'm off in the bushes on a. Oh, but they were saying in there, like, stay. Oh, so after I left the conspiracy theory room, which you would poo-poo a conspiracy theory room because there are some legitimate, I use this word compassionately, crazies in that space. But if I had not been in that space, I would not have heard about Mansa Musa, which is powerful. But in another room, I heard that if you stay in your lane, there's no traffic. You only encounter traffic in your life when you're where you diving. If you're minding your friend's business or minding your cousin's business or minding your mama's business or your grandma's business or anybody else's business outside of yourself. I don't know about you. I personally have a full fucking plate. I'm a 5'8", about 157 pound black man in America. That's why I don't take on the garbage of other people anymore, or their nonsense commentary or their nonsense actions, because, like, I have a full fucking plate. Like, I've got to figure out how to survive in a world that was constructed and designed to literally kill me. Like, people aren't talking about the fact, and don't send me no fucking emails about conspiracy theories as it relates to this vaccine. But I'm gonna tell you, all you black ass people, this shit. Vaccines in your body change the whole chemistry of your body. Like, you're putting something foreign in your body. I'm not making a declaration about whether you should get the vaccine or you shouldn't get the vaccine. But I was in the conspiracy theory group, and they raised an excellent point. You're introducing antibodies into your system. You can't shit out a vaccine, Stacia. You can't shit it out. Like, it's not an apple that goes in your mouth and comes out. Now, we benefited in society. Measles, mumps, and rubella. Hello, Jewish people in Brooklyn. Hello, Jewish people in Brooklyn. Hello, Jewish people in Brooklyn. We have eradicated, except for those people. Some people are like, oh, you're racist. No, there are Jewish people with very fluffy hats on their heads, not taking vaccines, and they're subjecting large populations to harmful health conditions. I'm not speaking to measles, mumps, and rubella because we have science to support this, but I'm not quite in a place to introduce something into my chemistry at this time. I'm going to stay in my lane. What say you, Stacia? I think you're, like, muted or...
Yes, I was, because Rosie was losing her damn mind. I was going to say one quick retort that I'll just co-sign to that is just, like, I'm by no means an anti-vaxxer, but I've read enough of medical history to realize the ways in which a lot of people don't know their history about how people with uteruses and women, people of color, have been, to date, exploited through medical research.
They were snatching uteruses out of brown people at the border day before yesterday, y'all.
To date, in terms of the development of what in becomes popularized as medication. Birth control pill is a prime example. To get to where we're at today, it took a lot of people becoming sterilized to figure out the formula, and there's still questionable antics about the different concoctions that you can get today. But what I'm just getting at is that, like, I like to live off of the precautionary principle to the extent that I can, which is basically that we want to sort of move with the maximum amount of safety in terms of ourselves and our communities and the ways in which we consume things. And so, what that looks like in terms of medications and vaccinations is giving things a little bit of time to be able to actually investigate, like, how does this interact with our body, because things are moving at a very quick speed. We have so many chemical interactions that we really have no clue, like, what sort of games of record we're playing with. And so that's just what I want to say on that tip. But
you're breaking up a little bit, so I'm gonna give you a second for everything to kind of reset. I was gonna say that there are multiple ways to heal this situation, meaning that I could get the vaccine, or I could stay my black ass in the house. And we all have to kind of navigate how health looks for us. Right now, for me, the health doesn't look like the vaccine. Health looks like me just laying low. Perhaps taking. We're gonna bring Stacia back in. Perhaps taking a bit. I don't need to be out in the stores. I don't need to be out window shopping right now. So they've told me, the CDC, which is a very credible organization as far as I'm concerned, based in Atlanta. Yes, thank you, Stacia, for the ASL. They say that if I distance myself from you negligent and careless motherfuckers, I can protect myself against the virus. So I just gave the lady behind me in the Dollar Tree today, because I do fuck with the Dollar Tree for some things. Don't do the food. The food is very preservative rich and high in sodium, black people, and your ass will die from a stroke, from high blood pressure, fucking around with food in the Dollar Tree. And I know that's a very socioeconomic elitist thing to say. I'm just telling you what your cardiologist will say to you. And while I was in the Dollar Tree, I gave the lovely black woman behind me and the Latinx lady in front of me a look that says, stay right where the fuck you are. Because I'm going to get out of here with this dish detergent that's made with the bleach alternative alive today. And so kind of moving in the world that way, it's okay. Whose turn was it? We got 9 minutes to go in this podcast.
So my next one actually is very similar to yours about staying in your own lane. My third intention is to really mind my own business by watching my thoughts and watching my words. I think we can get really easily off track, and I know it will be an exercise and a practice, but I'm really trying to work on minding my own fucking business and really being about that life of not, because in full disclosure, I can be a very critical and judgmental person. I know that about myself. I'm naming it. It's not going to entirely go away. What I can do about that is make sure that I'm not repeating all of the judgments and critiques that I have beyond a certain, parameter. If I need to sort of process some things with a few of my cardinals just to get it out of myself, that's one thing. But being out here, on Al Gore's internet, as Andre would say, just like talking shit about people and their behaviors and their decisions, I don't think is what builds movement and leads to change, because nobody usually, social science actually backs me up on this, is that, like, judgment and shaming actually does the opposite of encouraging people to move in a certain direction. There's something about us that becomes combative to feeling judged. And so what actually moves people is wanting to be a part of something, wanting to be a part of the in crowd, not wanting to feel like you're the odd person out or on the wrong side of history or not doing what is culturally normative. And like we can talk about the problematics of that in certain instances, but I want to be about creating a culture where people want to be like me. I want to be an influencer in terms of encouraging, empowering, and equipping, and not not getting claps and likes and hearts for dragging people. So I'm gonna mind my own business, drink my water, and try and cheerlead positive energy in myself and among others who are doing positive things.
I love that. I don't know if you gave that to me or if I picked it up from somewhere else, but drink. No, I know where I got it from, and I don't know where you got it from, but yeah, my dear friend.
Ether now, anyways.
Again?
I said everything's in the ether now, anyways.
There's no original thought. If you're out there under the sound of my voice and you think you have an original thought, I mean, you may have like an original business plan or an original invention, but if you think that you're out there in that delusion of isolation, thinking that you're the only one feeling the way you feel, or that you're the only one having these thoughts, I got a bag of really shiny things to sell you, because truly, like me, like
everything's recycled, even the fucking air we're breathing.
Every fucking thing. I mean, scientifically. So yeah, I'm on that train too. I drink my water and I mind my business. And these days, I try to not. It's dangerous to return the energy to people that they're giving to you. Because I on Clubhouse this week and in the digital sphere, I've just by strangers have been kind of mishandled and misjudged, and I'm like I didn't come in here for any of that. Like I have a mason jar of water and I'm just sipping and minding my business. You know, everyone loves a good session of, you know, like the tea, but I need y'all to know, like, caffeine dries out my vocal cords and takes my anxiety to 200. So I can't even sip the tea you're sipping, because it's not well with my soul.
It's not healthy.
It's not
healthy.
For me. I lose my high B's and C's when I'm sipping on tea with y'all. And guess what? You lose yours too. Talented people who have to be mean spirited. Like it's not okay. Like people will remember. People don't remember what you said or what you did. They remember how they felt in your presence. Maya Angelou, to quote her loosely, Dr. Maya Angelou, may she be blessed and may she rest in power. And so we just have to be mindful of those things. That leads me to my last one. You know, don't do the most. Leave the extra for the stage. And as someone who is a professional performer and professional dramatist, I have been compelled throughout my life to be fucking extra, like really extra, like, and the thing that the spirit of
professionally dramatic,
like going on stages and just like they're
Broadway level drama.
I mean, she got the credit, right? And so like that's wonderful on the Broadway stage or the off-Broadway stage or in the shower when you're singing Whitney Houston at the top of your lungs. Like all of that has a time and a place. But if you can't humble yourself and just say like, I'm here to simply sit in this room and in this audience and glean from what is being said and to witness what is happening in this space. I do not want to come up on the stage. I do not want to like have a hot take. I don't want to sing a song. I don't want to audition for a show that I don't want to be a part of. Hint, hint, wink, wink. You know, like it's cool. And I'm not going to hold the doing the most requirement over my head because you want me to tap dance. And what I'm noticing in this Clubhouse space and in the digital sphere, period, Twitter, the artist formerly known in my life as Facebook, and all of these areas, there is this requirement to perform and to tap dance and to prove your worth as if you were not worthy simply for breathing. And so if you're under the sound of my voice today in the podcast or on the live taping and you are trying to convince people that you're a good guy or a good lady or a good they, or a good, human presence, regardless of what your genitalia does and how that's set up and your attraction factor. If you are a human spirit out there trying to convince people of your worthiness and of your goodness, I personally want to set you free today from that. In the name of the flying spaghetti monster, I want to set you free in the spirit to no longer have to convince people that you matter. And I feel this way controversially, even about Black Lives Matter. We feel like we are compelled and we have reasons to say Black Lives Matter, and I will never shut up about it. But there's a weird thing that happens when you say Black Lives Matter, Black people, and you don't believe it. If you are out in these streets proclaiming that Black Lives Matter, but you don't feel it in your Shandalabo Koso, then that's the reason why you're constantly trying to convince people of your worth.
Yes.
Like when I say Black Lives Matter, I know who is number one on the list, and it ain't your ass. It's me. I am the Black life that matters, and I will carry my life in that dignity. That's something I've been riffing with Stacia about since 1962, it feels like. That Black people really, not to be better than or less than anyone, but we need to take up the mantle of our dignity.
Yeah, like, our humanity.
Our humanity. Like, all of us are here trying to make it through this dusty motherfucker, and we're all heading to the same place. Like I you beat me to the punchline, child. Like that's how it ends for Stacia. That's how it ends for me, and that's how it ends for everybody on Clubhouse. I don't care how thick your bio is. I don't care how many stages you performed on. I don't care how many sales you've closed. At the end of this, and someone's going to step over you or scatter your ashes, and then 300 years from now, they're going to be like, who? And the example that I use, I borrow from Gary Vee. He talks about the fact that like Prince died, and then you never hear about Prince anymore. You'll hear Purple Rain on the radio or at a concert.
Oh, I do in my own head.
But you ain't talking about him.
I mean,
I've never had a conversation with you about Prince.
Is that for real?
I'll wait. I'll wait.
That's just wild. I mean, I believe you. I
believe that you have an affinity and a joy for Prince, and I believe that Purple Rain or whatever other songs he sings, because I'm not a fan, but I just don't pay attention. We've never had a discussion about Purple Rain.
I follow your drift. It's like, even the famous of the fame, it's like we begin to fade.
It never, if I hadn't brought it up as a purpose of this episode, we would have gone yet another day not speaking about it. And I would have gone to bed tonight not thinking of him at all. We have to really be, for all of my resume, and the people who are following me are going to catch this podcast on Black Twitter because of my involvement producing on Clubhouse. Like, you all try to hold people to certain standards and try to like put a noose around people's necks about how they can behave and perform. Y'all did the same thing to Prince, and that nigga's dead. And he'll be dead too. I don't over index my importance. People think I do because I come in with my resume and I just sit there and shut the fuck up and kind of read a room, but I don't over index the fact that nobody knows my name. There's a woman in Iowa right now washing her dishes who has never heard Andre Stith, Blondre Bliff, or Condre Cliff.
Don't give a fuck.
She does not give a fuck. She's trying to figure out what that fucking stimulus is. She's trying to figure out what's for dinner and how to like keep white people from climbing over walls into her office, putting feet on desk. That's what she cares about. But she don't know my name, and I don't think she should know my name. Like, there's another thing that happens in artist territory where under the umbrella of doing the most, where it's like, one day there's so many songs in musical theater, but one day you'll see my name in lights. And for me, I'm like, or you won't. Like, I'm one of the fortunate people who has made it to the highest level of commercial American theater, maybe even the highest level of commercial theater in the world. Golf claps for me. Let me tell you something right now. I need more help to come over the range. Financially,
Yeah, and you're still valuable regardless.
Regardless. So, what happened was, in summation, and I know we're a little over, Stacia, but we were into. I went into my profile because I was mishandled and mistreated. This is not me picking up a victim consciousness. I was mishandled and mistreated aggressively in a clubhouse space, because I refused to come on stage and prove my resume.
You ain't got shit to prove. I'm going to keep reminding you.
So I put on my profile #team nothing to prove. Because at the end of the day, beloveds, there's always another bus coming. If you just put on the right clothes that are appropriate for the weather, don't go out of here in no poom poom shorts in this cold and catch a cold in your booty hole. Don't do that. Put on clothes, but if you got somewhere to be and you got a dream and a vision in your life, put on appropriate clothing, as I did today. I put on socks today. I never wear socks. I put on socks because I wear Crocs, and I can throw some. I can clean them and disinfect them and use the antibac. So I don't wear socks unless I really, really have to in my life as a way of being. And I put on socks today, and I went outside. And if you go to the bus stop of your life with a dream and a hope of a destination, if you're trying to go north, make sure you're on the bus side of the street that goes north.
The right way.
A lot of you niggas are on the south bus when you should be on the north bus, but that's for a different podcast day.
And you can always get off and just cross on to the right next side.
But you know that moment when the bus you need that's going in the right direction is coming up the street as you need to get off the wrong bus? And then you run across the intersection and you try to...
God damn it!
And you miss the bus. Guess what? If you stand there long enough, another bus will come. And that's the thing I need y'all to catch in your Shonda Lobocoso today. That if you have nothing to prove, and if you miss the clubhouse bus or the Twitter bus or any space of a bus, if you even miss your own bus, you oversleep, you miss a meeting. I missed a couple meetings yesterday. I apologize. Another bus is coming. I hope that I get to have more conversations and more experiences. I hope I get to taste more grapes and more strawberries and more fresh fruits and vegetables. I hope that becomes integrated in my life, and that I never live my life from a place of feeling like this is the only thing that can ever happen to me or for me.
You schooled me on that energy a lot. A lot.
So I can stop talking as much.
Yeah, no, I think I perpetually, in this planning anxiety that I can get caught up into, of thinking I'm not prepared. I haven't learned the things, especially with technology and tools. Even when we're talking about Clubhouse, I'm like, oh, child, you're the second person who told me this is important. I value your opinion. Also, I feel stressed out about another platform to learn, and full disclosure.
It's a stressful place. Mm-hmm.
But also to note that there's always another Adrienne Marie Brown gem. There's always enough time for the right work, and I have to try and remind myself of that mantra.
It's slowly.
There is always enough time for the right work. Catch that, the right work. And it's literally something that I come back to daily, because I think I've gotten in the habit of using anxiety as my fuel to be like, I gotta catch the thing, I gotta be on to the next one, and I think a lot of our culture is primed towards making us be on that always out of time kind of energy. And I'm like, I can see it, I can feel it, but I'm gonna speak for that emotion and not to it, as one of our colleagues told us beforehand. And just name it for what it is, and know that I'll get to the right places at the right moments, and to trust that divine timing, so to speak, about when I arrive.
You got to trust your flow. You got to trust your flow. You just got to know. You got to know when you're nowhere. Like I said earlier, this goes beyond just saying cute things or dropping gems or having something cute. You got to know in your heart that what is lined up in the stars for you, you couldn't miss it if you tried. Mm-hmm. And when you know that in your heart, you just move differently. You're not trying to impress people. You're not trying to prove anything. You're just in your flow. And like for me, Stacia and I have been in creative partnership for what feels like 30 years, but I think it's only been about 3 truly. And one thing you have encouraged in me, friend, is the fact that we're in this lazy river of life. And like that's why up top, y'all see those little rocks with our glasses on them. Like in the 2 rocks, if you can't tell, they're holding hands. So we're just in the stream, in our flow, hand in hand, floating down the lazy river. Occasionally our hands do disconnect because we date different people and we flow in different ways in different spaces. She's in the environmental justice space. I'm in the musical theater and performance space. And so there's always this pushing and pulling of us, but we're in the flow of the stream, in that lazy river, and we understand that, like, oh, I see, like it's this really, as it should be, I feel, or as it could be, not to be prescriptive, it's this wonderful, warm and juicy space of just relaxing. I never went to the amusement park as a child and saw anybody in the lazy river. And for those of you who don't know, if you're listening, you're not from here, like lazy river is this like attraction in water parks where you put your giant tube in the water, the lifeguards pull you in, and then you sit on top of this giant inflatable donut, and then the water stream,
you just cruise along,
and you just cruise. I've yet to see anybody in there running.
Well, I've seen some little babies once or twice.
Well, the babies, but I'm talking about those of us who have put away childish things, as the good book says. Oh,
precisely.
Those of us who have put away childish things. We're not running around the pool, and I'm not running around the pool like the babies are. I'm better than them. I'm not running around the pool because I know you can skin your knee.
I'm not trying to bust my ass and get a concussion. Not today.
I'm not doing it anymore. That don't impress me much. I have found in this life that I could do 50% of my effort and still produce 200% value just because of showing up and being present. Everybody take a breath. Know that love is the greatest power there ever is. Know that love is the greatest power that ever is.
Yes, that's juicy.
Know that what you seek is seeking you. Know this. I'm not talking about like, oh, feel good. Oh, yes. What is your, the things happening out on Clubhouse is like, what is your Cash App so I can put some money in your offering plate? I'm not talking about feel good words. I'm saying no in your knower. Where's my knower? Where's my knower, Dre? Your knower is that space that is beneath your knowledge, that is beneath your understanding. That's where knower sits.
I am feeling what you're putting down right now, deeply.
Deeper than mental construct. I'm talking about that place when you are like that place right before you close your eyes to go to bed in a dark room, unless you sleep in all light, which is your business. But if you're in a dark space, and you get still and you listen, your knower with a capital K will tell you everything you need to know. And one thing that my knower, and everybody has this, it's not like something that is specially given to people or a special dispensation for certain people. I believe that everyone has a unique gift inside them, and I believe that everyone has a knower. And if you get still enough, your knower will tell you, and you'll even feel it now if you check in and free yourself from distractions. Like
I'm getting chills when you're saying this, for real.
Like your knower knows that everything you're seeking is seeking you back. And your knower has receipts about it. Like your knower can look back over your life and see that the things you were seeking, both positive and negative,
yes,
has been
good distinction, both positive and negative. That's why it's
things. This is
important to mind your thoughts.
This is science, man. This is science. The law of attraction, that shit that magnets do when all
right
sudden,
thought, right speech, right action.
Dead ass. Dead ass. Could not have said it better myself. Dead ass. Right speech, right thought, right action. And whatever you seek, if you're seeking drama, if you're seeking gossip, if you're seeking high levels of ego and belonging, then those things will seek you back. And it's a shitty kind of lazy, I said lazy Susan, lazy river kind of situation. When those things do come back, and trust me, they always come back. When the things you're seeking find you, and it's some bullshit because you put out bullshit into the world.
It's a karma wheel.
It's a karma wheel. It's a karma wheel. And we could go down the list because we're us and give you 12 other examples of how this is true. But I just want to drop that nugget about the knower because it is, for me, it's the sweetest place. It's like, it's the most gentle touch. And I'll ask you this before we go, like my word of the year is simplicity. And one thing I found, and I can only speak to what I've been experiencing in the Clubhouse space and part of the creative team I work on, there's a lot of pressure to perform and to see and be seen. And people are coming in there singing every note they got in their bag, like every note on the page, like twinkle twinkle little star, up and down the scales. And I'm like, what if they knew in their knower that they are full and they are safe and they are enough?
Yeah.
And I just gotta like linger here. You're full, you are safe, and you are enough. I always give my last piece of chicken to the strongest black femme in the room. And I'm looking. For those of you who will listen to the podcast later, for those of you who will listen to the replay on the podcast, Stacia just clutched invisible pearls.
I forget that this is also an audio platform. Being a whole ass visual fool.
So when I said that I always give my piece of chicken to the strongest black femme in the room, Stacia said,
"Me?
Her best white lady, clutching of pearls." Yes, you. I'm gonna give you the final word, and then I'm gonna click finish on this studio, and then I'll call you on WhatsApp just to give you e-hugs because Stacia and I are separated by miles. But I gotta thank you before I let you take your favorite piece of chicken. I gotta thank you for who you are to me.
I caught that energy in presence. And that's also an excellent segue into my last tidbit, which is, I think my word for the year is presence, and a callback to my first intention. And the last intention I want to end on, that I think I keep being called back to in our loving relationship, is to remember throughout this year that real love is to care for and be cared for beyond convenience. And that's something that actually, like, I feel emotional about it just in reflecting on our relationship, because sometimes I'm still doing my own healing work about believing that I deserve to be loved beyond convenience. I really, it's like still work and it still makes me feel emotional. And you keep showing up for me over and over again, and inconsistency, showing me with your action and not with your words that I am worthy of love beyond the convenience of loving me. And I can't tell you how valuable that love is to me. And I appreciate you so much for it.
I love you.
I love you too.
It caught me in my chest when I was thanking you for being in my life. It caught me in my chest because people are seeking another weirdo to go gooble gobble with through life.
Gooble gobble, motherfucker, for real.
And you literally just show up with presence with a capital P, and So thank you.
I love you so much.
I love you, and thank you for the people who've been chilling out, watching us.
Yes, thank you, viewers. We appreciate and love you.
Boo-hoo. If you want to know more about what our vibe is like, this is episode 7 of the Taking Up Space podcast. We finally got out of our own way and our own egos and came with open hands and a defenseless posture and said, like, let's just log on every other week and just be love, show love, and demonstrate love. And it's why I'm a soup sandwich, because when you know this kind of love in your chest, you become unstoppable. You
Truly
become unstoppable, knowing that Stacia is not conveniently in my corner, but both in and out of convenience in my corner is the magic elixir that just makes all the other bullshit manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not have a Stacia J. Turner in your life, pray about it. And this ain't me trying to save your soul, because I don't pray every day. I don't give a fuck about that. Do whatever, like sage, incense, whatever your practice, a lot of candle, and ask the universe to bring someone to you that does not compete with you, but just loves you.
And I'll add that your breath is a prayer in presence, from my perspective.
Have a great night, everybody. You are loved. Thank you for watching and listening to Taking Up Space with Stacia and Dré.
Bye.